Good morning. It's good to have you this morning in the newspaper review reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Oyinpriye Krumale. This morning we will be taking a look at some of the stories making the headlines right here in Nigeria and out of Nigeria. Most especially in Nigeria, the National Youth Service Corps is deploying its members to the orientation camp. However, experts have warned that with the potential third wave currently ravaging some parts of Nigeria, most especially Lagos, might hinder that. However, Dr. Chikwe Iyekweazu and some other experts is saying that it's going to be somewhat wrong if COVID-19 protocols are not observed in the orientation camp. The NYSC is deploying more than 1,000 students next week, still in the month of July. Then in August, they are deploying another batch of students, which equally is like 1,350. And this has been drawing concerns from well-meaning Nigerians who are actually advising the government against the potential third wave of COVID-19 in the country. Now, Sunday Igboho, the Yoruba activist, reports reaching us that he's been arrested in Cotonou, Benin Republic, attempting to leave Nigeria by the secret police in Benin Republic. He's billed to be repatriated back to Nigeria today to come and face allegations and charges that have been leveled against him by the Department of State Services concerning the allegation that he had weapons and ammunitions in his possession. These are some of the stories we'll be looking at, including other stories making the headlines on the front pages of newspapers. Now, let's get some input from our guest this morning, a public affairs analyst, Mr. Godson, as always, joining us from the United Kingdom. Good morning, Mr. Godson, and welcome to the newspaper review.
Good morning. It's my great pleasure.
It's good to have you this morning.
Thank you very much.
Okay, yesterday we saw a report that the United Kingdom government just released or allowed clubs and the public places to be completely open for revelers and people to come in and have fun. First of all, can we get an input on the way the government is tackling COVID-19 in the UK?
Thank you very much. The United Kingdom government are extremely in the sense that the stages they have put in place, of which we are on the fourth stage right now of opening up the social space and the economic space in the last 18 months is very, very astronomical and very, very essential at this very point in time. Vaccination has been the old thing at the moment. The government says vaccinate, 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 and which means that everyone from the age of 18 to 70, 80 years old has to be vaccinated at least with the 2 jabs. And at the moment, the country has vaccinated well over 40 million of its population has gone through the 2 jab vaccination as at this moment. And the challenge right now is to persuade the younger generation between the age of 18 and 25 to really take it as a serious situation to make themselves available at the NHS centers to get their vaccine jabs, which is highly very, very because the Delta variant is spreading seriously.
Mr. Godson, let me interrupt you. Mr. Godson, now, when the United Kingdom is, when we look at the chart of the countries that are most affected by the COVID-19 virus, United Kingdom is at the 7th position. And we want to know, with regards to the physical meetings in educational institutions, in schools, both in tertiary and the secondary schools and colleges of education. How is the government handling the case there? Are they meeting physically, or they have completely resorted to virtual classes?
No, actually, most schools are in sessions now. Physical learning is going on in most schools in the UK. With regards to the cases of COVID, there have been a series of statistics coming out about children who have been absent at school in the last couple of weeks as a result of being infected with COVID virus and coming down of COVID virus. But then the fact has remained that the government has been very resolute in ensuring that schools remain open and students are able to go into school, maintaining the social COVID protocols in their schools, even though at this moment most of these protocols and restrictions are being removed as at yesterday. But then what the government wants people to understand are going forward is to know that is to have the consciousness in themselves to know that we are most likely here to stay with COVID, or COVID is here to stay with us at this moment, just like any other variant flus that we have been going through in the last couple of generations. And so the most important thing is that the society has to come to the understanding that this particular virus pandemic is not going away so soon, and it's not going to be eradicated immediately, but on a gradual basis, it will become part of the human system, and the society will get used to it, and then we'll be able to manage the condition in the years to come. But the most essential thing that everyone has to do is to be self-responsible, like the government said. We all have to be self-responsible.
All right. All right.
Also conscious of the fact that we have the vaccine, have COVID.
All right, Mr. Godson. Mr. Godson, let me interrupt you again. Now, let's briefly move away from the COVID discussion. Let me bring you to another topic that is really making the rounds over here in Nigeria, and that has to do with the e-transmission of voting results in the electoral process over here in Nigeria. I want you to make a comparison of what is obtainable in the UK and in Nigeria, most especially concerning the e-transmission of the voting results. What's your perspective on that issue?
Obviously, my perspective on this issue is that the National Assembly representatives and senators are taking this out of context, and they are absolutely denying the millions of Nigerian electorate the right to be to have that trust, to have that confidence in the electoral process in Nigeria in the 21st century. I don't think there's anything wrong in electronic transfer of votes, and I don't think that I believe there is a misconception on how these votes are going to be or ought to be transmitted electronically to the main portal or the hub, the central hub of the collations process. I think in this country you hardly see elections have been declared on papers. Most of the results go through a very systematic electronic process where every vote is collected as it's coming in from the local government to the regional center and then to the central government hub. And the announcement of the result comes immediately as soon as the results are collated and completed on the system, and it goes off and it's recorded. You cannot do anything about it, because the fact that the collation of that process is done by independent bodies, and the numbers are electronically submitted and transferred. There is no way you can subjugate that to any form of electoral manipulation by anyone within the system. And in this country, there's one thing we're trying to fight against also, which is like the electoral transmission of election.
Electoral result, yes.
Well, is the issue of voters card. Some don't have voters card. Nigeria, where you vote,
Okay.
get 10% voter.
Okay, I beg your pardon, Mr. Godson. I'll have to interrupt you again. However, I still have some more questions for you, still concerning the e-transmission of electoral results, which is the topic currently that the Senate and the National Assembly is currently handling, even though it has passed a very, very critical stage. Now, let's give some benefit of doubt to the National Assembly, most especially the President of the Senate, who came forward yesterday to say that we have to consider the fact that half of Nigerians might be denied their votes from being counted if we adopt this procedure, because the infrastructure that is required of coverage in order to have access to all these numbers that will be generated during the election and be transferred to the main portal is limited. What's your take on that aspect? Don't you think they have a right footing of excuse in that regard?
I think that's a religious excuse. If I have to say that, if I have to use that word, because I believe that those in the National Assembly and in the Senate are supposedly educated, highly traveled individuals and highly exposed individuals who understands what is happening in the 21st century, the digital age world. I don't think that anyone will be disenfranchised in any form by using the electronic transfer of votes in Nigeria, because as today in the world, there is a well-known phenomenon around the world about Nigerian advancement in technology and communication sector. We get to understand that as of today, there are over 150 million Nigerians that have access to a mobile phone in Nigeria, which is obviously one of the highest in the world of mobile users. And also there's an evidence fact that says that over 45 to 50 million Nigerians have access to internet in Nigeria, unless this is more than the normal number of people that actually vote in Nigeria. So, and this coverage is almost everywhere. Electronic transfer of votes can be done through your mobile phone. It just needs the person in charge of that polling center to enter the figures in the presence of everyone, the observers, the party representations, all be there, and he enters the information on the mobile phone and then sends press, because INEC has developed a software that allows that to work on your mobile phone. And I don't think that man who says he's Senate President Lawani or whatever from Yobe State will be honest enough to tell Nigerians that there is no internet receiver in Yobe State.
Mr. Godson, excuse me for a moment, Mr. Godson. You cannot refer to the President of the Senate as his name or whatever. It's unacceptable on this platform. Now let's attach some form of regard to these persons who occupy a very good position. Yes, please go on with your perspective.
Sincere apologies to that, but sometimes you get angry and you get annoyed, you get upset by the way those we call leaders. I mean, when you say somebody is distinguished, you must act distinguishedly, and that's the most important thing about leadership. When Senate leader or Senate president said that half of the Nigerian electorate are going to be disenfranchised if they go with the full usage of the electronic transfer of votes in Nigeria, I totally disagree with him on that point, because already there has been a process where they've been using an electronic voting system. They used it in 2019 election, and cases where that didn't work, there was an alternative arrangement. but majority of the polling booths in Nigeria were operated by using that particular voting electronic voting system that was developed by INEC. And I believe that it's just about education. It's just about creating the understanding and through awareness and information. Because they say if you
All
are
right.
informed, if you are not informed, the fact is that people need to be informed on what is the actual usage, the process of transmitting these votes from polling stations to the next stage of collation and to the final stage of the collation. I think that Nigeria has that capacity. I believe Nigeria has that resources. I believe Nigeria has that infrastructure to be able to create electronically over 35 million Nigerian voters, which is the statistical standard of people that comes out to cast their vote according to the
Let me let me bring you just one more question before I let you go. Recently, there has been reports of the spike of the prices of staple foods in Nigeria, and that's if you look at the dailies today in the front pages of newspapers, you will see that the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria is berating the current administration and actually enjoining the administration to develop a new roadmap of economics and the economic plan to make sure that Nigeria is taken beside or through a particular line that will provide job creation and generate employment to the mass of Nigerians in the public. What's your take on that?
Well, I am of those who are advocating the reform of the Nigerian economic policy as we all continue to look forward towards a zero oil economy in Nigeria in the 21st century. I have always been speaking about the agro economy, the new oil, which is agriculture. That is the new oil for Nigeria. Nigeria has got what it takes to produce beyond what the 200 plus million people can consume in Nigeria, and enough to set up enough manufacturing facilities and various agro produce in Nigeria and for export purposes. But the fact here is the most dangerous aspect of it is the level of insecurity in the country. The level of insecurity in the country has generated a huge devastation in terms of the land produce quantity, in terms of food production or in terms of agro productions in Nigeria, which is the area the government needs to focus more on and look into how to re-strategize their security architecture in a way to protect the land and protect those who work on the land. If you don't protect the land and protect those who work on the land, then there's an eventuality that you may not yield enough for your population and not enough for manufacturers who needs your produce for raw material and of their productions, and also for export purposes. I was at a meeting yesterday here in the UK, and I met a gentleman who runs a huge multi-billion-dollar commodity company in the UK, and he said to me, "We import a lot of our raw materials." Agro produce materials from India and China. And I said, why not Africa? Oh, there's not enough for us to bring from Africa. And I said, well, there's enough for you to bring in Africa if you put interest in Africa. And moreover, there's more for you to get in Nigeria. But they said, how can they trust Nigeria to produce a certain quantity of a particular, for instance, cassava flour for them to import to this country when they cannot guarantee the safety and the security of the farmers and the land? Because you find out that the Chinese come to Nigeria and get the seedling for cassava. The Indians come to Nigeria, get the seedlings for cassava. And they go to China and India and they are planting cassava in India, they are planting cassava in China, and they are producing enough to export to the UK from those countries. And Nigeria, the home origin of cassava, cannot produce enough for themselves. So it's a dilemma that the country has to look into. The most important thing is let the country take into serious condition the issue of resolving the inconstant security challenges, especially in the food baskets of the country, in Benue, in Plateau, in Nasarawa states, which are one of the high dense food producing states in Nigeria. If these states are not in a secured situation or condition, then the issue of we trying to go beyond oil for our new economy, going to a state, say we're now running a zero oil economy, we're just living in.
All right, Mr. Godson. Mr. Godson, thank you so much. I have to interrupt you here because of our time. I would have preferred that we have the whole day just discussing issues like this. But it's been a pleasure talking to you this morning, and thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you.
I look forward. Thank you very much, Margaret.
Thank you.
Wonderful time.
Yes, that's how much we can go on the newspaper review this morning. Many thanks for joining us. You can send eyewitness report to info@highimpactstudios.com or direct messages on all our social media platforms at High Impact TV and High Impact TV UK. You can as well follow us on all our social media platforms. Now, let's join Tea and Coffee again, where Ade Oyeyikbo and Amor Balade will be standing by. Good morning.